Hey guys, Blue OJ Leader here. Well, I've given my opinion on every Thomas & Friends episode from 3 different eras now. So now it is time to talk about the era I have been looking forward to revisiting the most, the Brenner Era. In 2012, Mattel bought Hit Entertainment and they subsequently revamped Thomas & Friends. Gone was Sharon Miller as the head writer, and here came Andrew Brenner. He and his team of writers helped bring new life to this, at the time, very boring and repetitive show. The Brenner Era was truly a new golden age for Thomas & Friends. But how do these seasons and episodes hold up in retrospect? Well, let's find out, shall we? Like always, I'll be going through these episodes quickly so that this video doesn't take too long, and of course, this is all just my opinion, so feel free to disagree. Anyways, starting with season 17, here's my opinion on every Brenner Era Thomas & Friends episode. It's a decent start to the Brenner Era. It's alright. Such a classic feeling episode. I love Wayward Winston. This one's good too. It's fine. This one's good. Yeah, this one is amazing. And this one is really sweet. It's decent. This episode actually made me feel bad for Charlie. So, that's something, I guess. I like Paxton a lot in this episode. It's nice to see Duck as the lead again, and it's a pretty good episode. It's fine. This one's pretty good. I really like this episode. This one is just okay, though. I actually quite like this episode. This one's pretty cute. It's basically a Christmas-themed version of Day of the Diesels. I think it works well, and it's great to see Diesel 10 again. It's pretty good. This one's fine. This one's solid. It's good. It's pretty standard. It's good. It's a really good classic feeling episode. And my overall opinion on season 17 is pretty solid. This season was pretty consistent with its stories. There weren't a lot of true standouts, but at the same time, there weren't really any outrageously bad episodes either. You can tell the new writing team was trying to use every character to see what worked and what didn't. Overall, a solid season, but not quite as good as the classic seasons. Now season 18. It's pretty good. It's really great. It's dumb, but I like Emily in this episode. This one's solid. This one's silly, but I like Henrietta in this episode. This one's great. This one's okay. I like the slip coaches, but the episode is just fine. It's really great. It's also really good. It's a great Duncan episode. It's good. It's a very nice episode. It's alright. It's also alright. It's very good and a cool idea. It's very sweet. It's a grand Christmas episode. It's pretty good. It's cute, I guess. It's honestly pretty solid. It's also pretty solid. I'm not sure why the Earl would want a dinosaur park, but the episode is alright. I like that Samson is pretty dumb and arrogant, but the story is pretty boring. And this one is just stupid. I kinda like this one, but man, this 4-parter could have been so much better. And my overall opinion on season 18 is pretty good, honestly. I was surprised with how many good episodes there were in this season. The low points were lower in this season compared to the last one, but the high points were much higher. Definitely better than season 17 at the very least. Moving on to season 19. It's a neat idea. A little silly, but not bad at all. It's good, in fact. This one's also good. Yeah, this one kinda sucks. It's decent. It's pretty good. It's solid. I quite like this episode. It's pretty good. It should have been about Porter. Den and Dart is the episode that made me like Den and Dart. It's a sweet episode. It's good. I like that Mr. Percival gets some focus, but the episode is just fine. It's solid. It's pretty good. I don't really like Philip, but I like the idea for this episode. Philip's save was cool, but it didn't make me like him anymore. This is the first time Thomas & Friends has ever had a proper 2-parter episode with the same name. I like both parts equally, and I think it's a fun retelling of A Christmas Carol. It's really good. This episode sucks. A lot. This one's solid. It's whatever. It's really good. It's pretty good. And my overall opinion on season 19 is good. Yeah, it's good. But it's not without faults. This season has the experimentation of season 17 with the quality of season 18. The highs were ones that I didn't expect, but the lows were shockingly low. It's better than season 17, but I don't think it's better than season 18. Sorry. Now season 20. I like Sydney, so I like this episode. For a Philip episode, it could have been worse. This one is amazing. I think it would have benefited from Duck in Thomas's role, but the episode is still good. Bradford is awesome. I love this episode. This one's not great. I love Daisy and Ryan as a pair. Great episode. It's a solid James episode. It's pretty good. It's solid. It's cool to see Percy and Harold paired up again, though the episode is just good. It's a sweet episode. This is such an inspired idea for an episode. I love it. It's cool that we got a Patch episode, and it's solid. This episode actually made me care for Connor. I really love this episode. It's good. I can't believe we got 3 new proper adaptations of Railway series stories in 2017. That is awesome. And Tit for Tat is an amazing episode. Mike's whistle is pretty good too. Useful Railway is also very good, and the crash was the best part. It's a fun idea and a great episode. This one is very dumb. It's okay. It's also okay. Hudo in general is just okay. This one's good. It's a really fun episode. It's cool to see Glenn again. It's a very fun episode. And my overall opinion on season 20 is the best Brenner season to no one's surprise. I do think there were some bad episodes that many don't seem to talk about, but the stuff this season did right, it did right. It's no wonder why this season of Thomas and Friends is held in such high regard. And finally, season 21. This was the first time I actually cared for CGI Diesel. It's a shame this episode came after the last one, but it's still good. This one's pretty funny. I like Harvey's insecurities, but the episode could have been better. I honestly kinda like this episode. I really like this episode. I think it's fine. This one's also fine. It was kinda cool to see Bid Mickey with a face, but the episode was just fine. I quite liked this episode, even if Bulgy's role at the end was very sudden. It's alright. Fun crash and pretty good episode. A Shed for Edward is a pretty lame episode with an ending I have very mixed feelings on. The episode is just Edward trying to find somewhere to sleep, and I get why he doesn't want to sleep with Philip. Also, it makes no sense that Philip sleeps at Wellsworth. This episode should have been about Rosie or Boko if they wanted to make fans happy. But that's not the part people like to talk about. It's the ending that has fans divided. Edward is my favorite Thomas character. Of course I don't like seeing him lead Tidmouth Sheds, aka the main cast. But in a way, I understand why they wanted to have him be a side character. Edward isn't a character that needs a lot of episodes about him like Percy or James. He's a character that works well as a secondary character, and most writers can't make him a main character for a story without his actions seeming out of character. Look at episodes like Edward Strikes Out, Steady Eddie, Charlie and Eddie, etc. And to be fair, it's not like him being a side character means he won't stop appearing in the show. Right? I can see why Edward would be written off of the main cast. The problem comes from how they did it. I get why Edward would want to lead to mentor a young agent like Philip. That's not the issue. The issue is that it's Philip, and they don't even do anything with this pairing. Why? What was the point of pairing them in the first place? And also, I can't stand the fact that no one seems to care that Edward is leaving the Sheds. In fact, they start wondering immediately who's going to join the Sheds next. You guys are supposed to be his friends, and you don't even seem that sad? How insensitive. It also doesn't help that many people see this as the finale of the Brenner Era. And to be fair, it technically is on Amazon, but not the official list. And honestly, this is a terrible end to the Brenner Era. So yeah, I get why people don't like this episode, but at the same time, I get why some people actually kind of like it. I personally am leaning more towards hating it, but hate is a strong word. I just kind of dislike it. That's all. It's probably in my top 5 worst Brenner Era episodes, but I don't know if it's the worst. Anyways, cool idea. I also like the title Bid Freeze. Tugs fans will get the reference. I don't like how Donald and Douglas are used, but I think the idea was cool. I love seeing Terrence again, and the episode is pretty good. It's a nice Christmas episode about Daisy of all characters. Not only a fine finale to Gordon and Spencer's rivalry, but a fine finale to the Brenner Era if you go by the Thomas Wiki list. And my overall opinion on season 21 is good. It's good. For what this season had to be, I think the team did the best they could. We got several good episodes, a couple bad episodes, but ultimately, if season 20 wasn't going to be the end of the show, I think this is a fine season to end this wonderful era of Thomas and Friends. But I don't think it's better than season 18 or 20, so sue me, I guess. And that is my opinion on every Brenner Era Thomas and Friends episode. I have to say, it was a lot of fun revisiting these seasons. It's crazy to think that Thomas and Friends was this consistently good. You'll notice I repeated myself a lot in this video, just like how I did in the Nitrogen Era video. But while repetition was a problem in the Nitrogen Era, it wasn't in the Brenner Era. Man, seasons 17 through 21 were great, and I think we didn't appreciate them enough at the time. Some of the stuff was legit better than some things in the classic series, and that is high praise. Go watch my previous videos if you haven't already, and be sure to check out Aura Darting's opinion on every Pokemon videos which inspired these. But that channel is more PG compared to mine, so you have been warned. Season 20 was the peak of modern Thomas, and it could have been the last season of the show. Season 21 also had a sense of finality to it, and it could have also been the finale to Thomas and Friends. But that's not what happened, because during 2017, we received terrible news. Big change was on the horizon. Season 21 was no longer the next step for the Brenner Era. It was now its last. Starting in 2018, a new era of Thomas and Friends would begin. And what it was called was Bid World Bid Adventures. Bid World Bid Adventures was a short but awful time to be a Thomas fan. Hatred everywhere, arguments everywhere, baffling choices were aplenty in the show. And was it all worth it? Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? Join me next time, folks. The end is in sight.